If I were to give this sermon a topic, it will be Jesus to the rescue. Jesus to the rescue. But before we get to that point of Jesus coming to the rescue, scholars try to give us the context of this wedding feast that Jesus and his family and disciples have been invited to. Some scholars suggest to us that in first century Palestine, at the wedding feast, the guests brought their own drinks and stuff. You know, you brought your own stash, and so people don't have to worry about that. Some scholars have suggested Jesus and his disciples showed up bringing their own stash. Hence the reason Mary will go to Jesus and say, Jesus, they're out of wine. You have contributed to the fact that they don't have wine, so you do something about it. Some scholars believe that Jesus and his disciples and some others who didn't bring enough or who didn't bring anything had contributed to the fact that the wine had run out. But never mind all of that. What we have before us this morning by way of John's Gospel is the first sign of Jesus before others, including his disciples, when he's revealing himself. We are now in the season of Epiphany, where Jesus is being revealed. He's showing himself forth in sometimes little ways, but in a very important way. And so Jesus, his mother and others have now come to this wedding. We're not sure whether this was a relative of theirs or just a friend, but they are all invited to this wedding. And Jesus and his disciples are in the crowd. When the wine runs out, we're not sure whether someone said to Mary, we've run out of wine, or she heard the servants talking about the fact that they had run out of wine, but she knew they had run out of wine. And so she goes to Jesus. What does she expect him to do? Send to Walmart and get enough stash? What was he going to do? Did she have any inclination? We do not know. But what we do know is she says to the servants, do whatever he tells you to do. Mary knows that Jesus would not let the bridegroom down. He's going to do something. I don't know, he's going to turn all this water into wine. Now you have to understand, the 6 water jars that are sitting there, if you average it out, it's 150 gallons of wine. By gosh, they're going to be drinking wine for the whole month. So when Mary tells Jesus the wine has run out, I don't know whether she's assuming that he's going to turn all these pots of water into wine. But she says to the servants, do whatever he tells you to do. And she's done. I guess she goes on and continues with the feast. Jesus says, my time is not yet. Some scholars have suggested Jesus was still waiting in some way to have a connection with God the Father and said, okay, now it's time, do something. These are all scholarly suggestions, so what do we say? But in any case, Jesus tells them to fill the jars and then draw some of the water out. What is his disciples, what are the disciples doing now? They're standing around watching. Okay, we're going to see what he's going to do. We do not know, but in some way, they are observing something going on. The servants take the water that they have filled the pots with and take it to the steward. I guess he's somewhere out there, the chief steward, somewhere out there, figuring out how on earth are we going to take care of this now? Trying to come up with all the different plans of how you're going to rescue the embarrassment of running out of wine. The servants bring the wine to him, or bring the water to him, and he tests it. And he calls the bridegroom. He said, come, tell me something. People serve the inferior wine first and let your guests get drunk, and then you serve the good wine. You turn the thing around. Serve the good wine when they have drunk enough, then you can serve them the cheap stuff. I mean, they don't even know the difference. At that point, they're drunk, so they just, it's almost, never mind. But they're drunk. But you kept the good wine, and now you are serving you are serving the good wine at the end. Why did you do this? And I guess the bridegroom is saying to him, what are you talking about? I didn't keep it, but never mind that. Jesus is somewhere over there just watching the rest of them going on, enjoying themselves. I guess here his disciples may be having a few glasses. This is where the Baptists and I will get in trouble with that, you know. Jesus and his disciples are working away. This is not grape juice, this is wine. Because the steward knew the difference between grape juice and wine. And the bridegroom, I guess, he may not have known that they had run out of wine, or maybe the word got to him that they had run out of wine, but thank God somebody had done something and they are enjoying themselves. Jesus to the rescue. The point I want to make by way of this sermon is that your life and my life is very important to God. All of us. God pays attention to all of us. Nothing about us is unimportant to God. And so Jesus, even in the midst of this celebration, all of the folks enjoying themselves, is still attentive to the fact that life is important. A relationship between the guests and all of those who are around, Jesus himself, the bridegroom, the bride, is important. And Jesus will rescue the bride and the groom from the embarrassment of running out of wine. And his disciples, standing from a distance, observe what Jesus has done, and they come to believe in him. Do they come to believe in him because they have wine? Or do they come to believe in him because he has paid attention to the need of the bride and the groom to have a good time with their guests? But they come to believe in him. He again removed the curtain so that his glory can be revealed. Something about him comes through so that his disciples can see there's something different about this one. There's something different about him. Jesus comes to our rescue on many occasions. Sometimes he comes to our rescue without even us knowing that we needed him to come to our rescue. But he comes to our rescue. Where are you today? What might be your need, and you want Jesus to rescue you from that situation? Do you need Mary to remind Jesus that you need some help? Or can you tell Jesus yourself that you need some help? I submit to you this morning, tell him yourself that, Lord, I need your help. I may not know how you will choose to assist me, but I need your help in this situation. Mary may not have known what Jesus was going to do, but she knew he was going to do something, so she will say to the servant, do whatever he tells you to do. And whatever he tells you to do will be the right thing. What might he be telling you and me to do today? Whatever it is that he will be telling us to do today will be the right thing. That may lead to a solution to whatever concern we may have. When he told the servants to fill the jar, they may not have known what will come out, But what came up rescued the festivity, and they were able to keep on enjoying themselves. May he speak to us today in the ways that each of us will hear from him what he is saying. May he speak to the concerns that we have brought with us into this space this morning, that we may hear from him what he wants to say to us. And may we trust him to see us through whatever it may be that we are dealing with today. Because Jesus always comes to the rescue. He will never let us down. We may not know when he's going to show up, but he's never late. He always comes to the rescue. And just as he rescued the wedding feast, he will rescue our lives from whatever we may be dealing with today. Trust him to see you through. Trust him to see you through. That's who he is, the one who reveals himself to us as God with us. May he journey with us this day and always. In his name we pray. Amen.